and then it overspilled into this at full time.
I'm trying to read in between here. But they went to shake hands, and it was like a bit of a, well, we've got to do this for everyone. But I think Tuchel's gone in there and gone with a really strong hand and really squeezed his hand. And you see the reaction of Conte, look down and say, what are you doing? And then it goes all off. And for some reason, Conte gets a red card and Tuchel walks away.
No, I think we understand that Tuchel's been shown the red card as well.
He got red card as well? OK, well, that's evened it up. That's no problem. Well, they're both assistants are like that now. They've got to take over the next game. Yeah, look, it's just held on a bit too long there for me, Gianfranco.
No, he clearly did that because Antonio was the first one to step in to go and shake hands with him, and he held his hand like saying, like you need to look at my eyes when you're shaking or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was.
But as a manager in such a high pressure situation, and in Thomas Tuchel's shoes, and you've just seen your team concede, give us an idea of how high emotions run, how irrational you become at times.
No, you are in a painful situation if you are in Tuchel's shoes, because obviously you saw your team playing so well, dominating. You went up front, and then you are equalized, and then at the last minute you lose the lead again, and you must be so upset. But you still have to be fair. And Antonio went to shake hands, and probably he was still too much upset.
Even you, cool, calm, and collected, must have got there on a Monday and gone, "What did I do that for?"
What was I doing? Me and Tony Pulis, when I was Wolves manager, well, it was ridiculous, and you look back and you think it was down the tunnel and everything, and it went on, and I'm thinking afterwards, what on earth? You become a different person. It's ridiculous. That's what that technical area does, is quite incredible, because the emotion, and particularly this is Chelsea, Tottenham as well. The crowds are obviously, the friction of the crowds, it's always there. The willingness for Chelsea to hold on to this sort of record at the Bridge. All these things come into it, and the two managers have had a little spat before, didn't they? And I think it was just boiling over, waiting to happen. But you can't, human nature tells you when things like that, you can't stand there and just walk up and say, oh, nice game, let's go down the tunnel and have a glass of wine. That's not going to happen. It was like frantic. And I think something was done there with the handshake. I think Tuchel's gone in with a real strong,
Also, Glenn, I think we don't have to underestimate the importance of this game. It's one of the classic games, so there is a lot of rivalry between the two clubs. But also, when two teams like this, they face each other, they're looking for dominance on each other. They want to send a sign on the other one, to the other one. And Chelsea was doing that, and at the last minute they saw themselves giving a point away because that's the way they feel, and so it must be very, very painful.
I think what was interesting as well, Spurs come back into it by getting bodies up the pitch a little bit, where they went into a 4, which is unlike Conte, put Richarlison on and put 2 up top with Kane, and they got bodies forward, and there was a lot of substitutions coming on, which proves to me that Tottenham's squad is a lot deeper and a lot stronger. Basima's come on, Perisic has come on, Mora came on. There was a lot of changes, but you didn't lessen your team, in actual fact. It still stayed at a better, a decent level. But Spurs have got to play better than that overall. Of course they have. And as I said before, you play a little bit indifferent, you get dominated by your opponents, but you get a point out of the game, away from home. They'll be happy with that.
And the moral of the story is, don't upset fiery Italians. Is that right, Gianfranco?
Never.
Never.
It's not a wise thing
Not a wise thing to do.
Spicy, spiky, 4 goals. Did that game have the lot?
Yeah, it really did. Tough game, playing against a really good side. Like I said before, we knew it was going to be a tough battle. First half, we weren't good enough with and without the ball. But second half, I thought we come out, we pressed well, we got the goal. Disappointing, obviously, the way we considered the second, but we carried on fighting, we carried on pressing, and thankfully we got one at the end there.
What was the problem first half?
Yeah, just we was a bit late when we was pressing, and they're against good sides, they punish you. We wanted to come and almost play man for man, and just a little bit late. If you're second late in these games, you get punished, and then with the ball, we don't really keep it as well as we know we can. So we had to adapt. Second half, we changed the formation a little bit, and it definitely worked out better in the second half.
Was their system frustrating you, particularly in that first period?
Yeah, no, they was getting into spaces, especially when they had us in the low block. It was hard to get any pressure on. They create kind of overloads on the wide areas. It was hard for Sessi, especially on that side, to press up to Reece. So we ended up getting camped in a little bit, and every time we won it back, they was kind of keeping us pressed. But yeah, like I said, I'm happy with the way we fought back, especially second half, and a really nice feeling to get that one at the end.
Is happy an understatement with the goal? The look on your face when you scored.
Yeah, I kind of flicked it, and then I couldn't really see where the ball went, and I just see the net rustling, and then obviously right in front of our away fans there. So especially after that chance I had earlier in the second half, it was nice to see that one go in.
Because of what's at stake today, it's so early in the season, but it's a Champions League place rival, and also you have to say the rivalry between these two sides, was it vital you came away with something?
I think it was a really important game for us, just to show where we are as a team. Of course, it's a marathon this season, not a sprint. We've got a long way to go with a World Cup in between. So, but I think it was important, especially after last season losing, I think 5 or 6 times to them in Cup and Premier League. So, yeah, away from home at Stamford Bridge hasn't been our best place over the years. So, to come away with a point, especially at the end, it's a good feeling.
Both managers red card at the end of the game. Do you know what caused it to boil over? Did you even know that? No,
obviously I see everyone kind of gathering up at the end there, and yeah, obviously disappointing to see the red card, but I didn't see what happened. Obviously it's an emotional game, London derby, the passion from both sides, obviously both teams wanting to win, so yeah, like I said, disappointed, but that's just sometimes what happens in these games.
Great stuff, Harry. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Is it right up there for a Spurs player to score on the 96-minute equaliser at the Bridge in front of your own fans?
Not many. God dear. Yeah, I mean, he did miss. He said about he missed the chance. They're the ones that you expect Harry Kane to put away. He's 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he just sort of screwed the ball really. And you're expecting him. So that was playing on his mind. But it was a really good corner whipped in. And he took it well. He's just, he hasn't had to make much movement, if I remember. He's just jumped, and it was poor defending from Chelsea in many ways, because there was 3 or 4 players attracted to the ball, and Harry's there on his own. And he just jumps unopposed, gets the little flick, and it's because at the end of the day, if that had been with 10 minutes to go, that would have been a really awkward 10 minutes for Tottenham away at Chelsea. Chelsea might have ended up getting the winner again because they were so far on the front foot, but so late in the game, they only had to hang on for 30 seconds, a minute. So your opponents can't really come back at you, and you can go home and say, well, we'll play better, but we'll take the point.
Before we see the goal, should there have been a foul and a free kick to Chelsea?
Maybe in another country they would have given the foul, but in England, challenges like this they're always there, and referees they don't take notice of that. So I'm not surprised to see it, letting it go.
VAR?
No, I don't think VAR doesn't intervene in this case.
No,
I think they.
Personally, I think Cucurella's not got his eye on the ball. He's actually faced up to. There's the goal that we've spoke through. Yeah, look, Harry doesn't really make that much movement, and it suddenly all opens up for him. And there's 3 white shirts there with no blue shirt there at all. It's very poor marking from. And whether it was going in or not, we're still debating whether it's come off James's thigh. We don't quite know whether that is going wide or not. We'll never know, but it nestles in the back of the net. But for me, going back to the foul, I think Cucurella's looking at Romero, and he's tugging him. He's trying to stop him from going. That's the reason why he tugs his hair and pulls him away. You could say, well, the first foul was a penalty against Cucurella, and the second one is a foul from Romero. The second corner shouldn't have been played. So there's ducks and drakes there, isn't there? Let's be fair. He's definitely trying to put him off. He's not looking at the ball. He's not marking him properly. He's just trying to block him and hold him. And I think it's a reaction from Romero. He goes, get out of the way.
They never give those situations because they know there are a lot of challenges, and they only intervene, I think, when there's only one person or one of the 2 players who is doing something. But in that case, they're holding each other, and then in the end, he ends up like this, but they're both holding each other.